Hi guys, so coming back here today, just a quick follow-up video to yesterday's T-Priv and first impressions and initial look. I have the bits and I have a spare coil.
14 days now,
it's time for a tank breakdown.
I've been running from a prison far from here to my lover. I must go now to live without.
So yeah, welcome back guys. We're back here once again with the Smok T-Priv Big Baby. TFV8 Big Baby, back once again with this, and I have just literally taken this whole thing apart and given it a quick wash. It's time to change the coils. So I'm going to start by taking off the mouthpiece, put that to one side, and then we just unscrew that entire bottom section. The glass section just comes away, exposing the coil. Now, viewers in America, this is the TPD compliant coil, which is why it's so bloody big, if I'm being honest. This is designed to plug up the entire tank and make it TPD compliant with a 2 milliliter capacity. But we have ways around this. So just to make a quick apology, yesterday's video with the unboxing of the TFV8 Big Baby, there was a little gap in the middle which I thought was for the mouthpiece, but apparently not. That should have been where my other coil was sitting. I should have had a second one like this in there, and I didn't. Now, that's no one's fault. It happens from time to time, sometimes either during production or the boxing stage during production, one is missed. It happens. Possibly another option is during transit one's been lost, or another option is when it's being taken to the store that I bought it from, because the one I bought was the display model. It's quite possible that they've taken it out, that they've opened the box out to take it out and put it on display, and then they've taken the spare coil out just so that if someone was to nick that box, they haven't got a coil to use. It's just going to be useless to them. So yeah, but all that being said, easy mistake to make. Anyone can make it. It's not something that's been done intentionally. But the good news is, by going back to the store today, they have given me a Big Baby coil. Yes. Viewers in America, we've been a little bit more familiar with this style of coil by Smok. See if we can get this thing to focus. Oh, sorry, still getting used to this. See if I can get it to focus in on that. Stop looking at me. There it is. This is the quad coil, Big Baby coil. Now you might be thinking to yourself, sword gun, that's not going to attach to the tank. There's an entire piece missing, which the American viewers, yeah, there is an entire piece missing. Or is there? Smok has been very... Smok, however you want to say it. Smok has been very clever with the EU marketing. Because of the whole TPD compliance and Article 20, we'll get onto that in a different story. I don't want to start ranting about Article 20 right now in this video, because that's not what this video is about. I'm going to have that rant in a different video, because it is an issue which does bother me a lot. But anyway, it's for a different time. So, if anyone from the US has, or Australia even, has purchased this tank, you'll know that there's normally a little extra chimney section on the top just there, which is currently missing from the EU TPD compliant version. Just noticed something and just having a quick think out loud there. So, well, yeah, so that chimney section is missing, and that's so. But they had to remove that chimney section to make the TPD compliant coil fit in the tank properly, like that. So it's just one big piece, and that screws into the top section just there. You see where they're going with this? They've made that section a screw-in point, an anchor point. You see it? Yep. They've been extremely clever with this. So to sell it, to legally sell a product to someone in the EU under the TPD regulations in Article 20, a tank's capacity cannot exceed a maximum of 2 milliliters. When it's being sold. Only when it's being sold, not when it's been bought, when it's been sold. So retail have to sell it as 2 milliliter tank. But there's nothing in TPD or Article 20 which states the end user can't modify the tank to adjust it to hold bigger liquids if it's possible. There's nothing to say the end user can't do that. It's all about the selling of the product, where the TPD 2 milliliter comes into play. So with that knowledge in mind, Smok provided a little bag of goodies, which I have put down because I thought I was done with it, but I'm not quite done with it yet. it provided in the bag of goodies this little chimney extender. This is the section which is currently missing from the EU version. See it? That would go just in there like that. But as I was looking at it just then, I have noticed that some of the rubber O-rings haven't been pre-installed onto this, so I'm just going to grab them out here, chuck them on real quick, and we'll come right back and we'll build this coil. Okay, there we are. So I've put the rubber rings on because they didn't come on already, which is fair enough. And now the only thing I need to do, by the looks of it, is this section screws onto there. That rubber ring should cause a seal, which is what I want. There we go, that's caught. Yep, that's on there securely, and there we go. So now I remove this coil from the deck section, stand it up like that so it doesn't fall over again, and then we'll screw this coil to the base like that. And you see it's perfect fit. All I have to do is screw it in. So now let's place the tank back over the top. Make sure that the threads of the chimney catch in the top of the tank there. Make sure it screws down. You want to screw it on quite tight because you want to get that ring in to make sure there's a nice tight seal. And there we go. And now I have a 4 milliliter tank in this big baby. Yes. Don't you just love what Smok have done for the people of the world? Gotta love them. Gotta love them. Let's place the 810 mouthpiece back on. There we go. And another piece that I've just found whilst I was rooting around on the floor because one of the rubber O-rings fell out of the packet while I was trying to put them on the chimney section. I found what fell out of the box yesterday, which I couldn't find. It's a vape band. A little vape band. I was really glad to see this because I actually did want one. I've never had one before, so I'm actually going to put that on my tank. I know, I'm childish, but I just want to have it on there. That's cool. That's cool. Right, okay. So now for the fun part. We need to juice this coil up. So I'm going to grab my T-Priv, close that lid first. There we go. Grab my T-Priv, I'm going to screw this onto here. I'm going to close the airflow just in case something goes wrong, because this is the first fill. I need to prime the coils. It's very likely something could go wrong, so close the airflow just in case so it doesn't accidentally spill everywhere. So I've got it on the top of the T-Priv here. So you've seen me fill this yesterday, so I'm just going to pour the liquid in. You've seen me do this already a few times now. If you own one of these, you've done it yourself. So let's fill this up. Now on the old coil, I'd already be done. That's how little this thing can hold normally with those coils in. But I'm not done, I've still got plenty of room in here now, so I'm going to keep going. All the way, come on, keep on going. Oh, look how much is in there now. Look how much is in there now. That is so much better. I am not going to run out of liquid anytime soon on this thing now. So I'm just going to close the lid on the liquid and then slide that shut. There, like that. But my 810 always seems to go a little bit loose when I've slid it open and slide it shut again. So let's just make sure she's back in place nicely. There we go. Now what I like to do is there's various different things you can do at this point in time. Not all of them are recommended, so you know, this is just what I do. It's just one way of doing it. It's not the way of doing it. It's not the right way of doing it. It's not the wrong way of doing it. It's just a way of doing it. So take that into account. If you do something completely different, that's absolutely fine. As long as it works, as long as you're doing it right, make sure you're staying safe. You know what I mean? So this coil needs priming. Now we can do one or two things. I can leave it sat there for about, I don't know, about 15 minutes, just to be on the safe side. But I don't really want to do that, so I'm going to do a dry. So I've got the airflow completely closed still. I'm just going to draw on it a bit. Just a couple of short pulse bursts. Okay, now I'm going to open the airflow just a tad. It's not leaking, that's a good sign. Again, same thing. I'm going to open it just a little bit further. Actually, I'm going to open it all the way. And we're going to go again. Close her off a little bit. Actually, I'm going to put it on pretty much pinpoint. Okay. Well, this is going to take a minute or two to soak into the coils, because basically what I'm waiting for with that draw is to taste a little bit of the liquid, and I'm not getting that just yet, so I'm just going to leave it for a couple of minutes and come back when it's ready. Times like this, having a backup one is quite useful. Okay, so it's been a couple of minutes and I've decided while I'm waiting I would go over, in my first ever review of the Nicotine iTaste Chroma I was talking about my vaping journey and stuff I've had in the past, and I was unfortunate enough after that review to have that coil burn out on me. It literally burned beyond the point of I couldn't spare it, I couldn't save it. So even washing it the third time wasn't going to be an option for that coil. I had to get rid of it. But because of that, I had no coil because it burnt out on the Saturday afternoon, and I was at work, and I work on sociable hours when I am working, so there was no way I was going to be able to get to the shop in time. So I couldn't get a coil until at least Monday. So and yeah, I will admit, I was tempted to have a cigarette because I didn't have anything else, but I didn't have a cigarette. So anyway, I was looking around the house and in my car for alternatives, other things I could use until, you know, I can get a coil back for that thing. And in my vaping journey video, if you've seen it, if you've watched that bit, I was speaking about my old iTaste MVP 3.0 and my Kangatech Aerotank 2. Look what I found. I've still got them. I told you I still had them. So yeah, I've got this thing working again. I gave this thing a clean out because it's not been used in a long time, so I gave it a nice thorough clean. Even cleaned the coils, but I did do spot priming for the liquid. I put little dabs of liquid onto the coils directly, just to help them bed in a little bit more after the clean. And there it is. Hey. I'm going to put this in wattage mode, because since I actually used to use this, I don't use variable voltage anymore. I prefer variable wattage. There we are, I'm in variable wattage, and I tend to fire at about 15 watts. The mix I have in this is not my Heisenberg. It's this Psycho-Polarized Cool Ice Mint. Again, this is sold as a 0 milligram. This is another 70-30 blend, because 70-30 seems to be my thing. Now this is usually meant to be clear. Anyone who's seen it before, it is clear when you buy it, but I've mixed in some tobacco PG flavour, a bit of Hanson Golden Tree tobacco flavour, which is another 70-30 blend. That's because the mint for me in this was just a little bit too harsh. I did have a nicotine shot in this, 3 milligram, so that's what's currently in this tank here, this liquid here. And now this is a mouth to lung device, and I've not used this for a long time. I'm actually planning on seeing if my friend would be interested in using this, because I'd like to see him get off smoking, but I don't think he's going to be able to go cold turkey, because it'd be the second time round for him. And he quit for a while, but he started again. I know, I've been up for non-smokers. It sounds really stupid, but yeah, I can understand why he's gone back. You know, it's very, very difficult, and I think maybe. And I know the second time round is 10 times harder than the first. So much harder than the first time round. So I'm going to see if I can convince him to try this for about maybe 2 weeks or a trial run. And if he likes it, then I'm going to try and convince him to buy his own, because I think this will be a lot better for him. Now, just before I do have a toke on this and show you how this still behaves after about 5 years, I'm just going to double check this very quickly. Starting to taste liquid, so that's pretty much ready to go when we're done here. Okay, so this is a mouth to lung device, Kangatech Aero Tank 2. This is the first device I had with adjustable airflow, and you see how it's working there. There's a little inner slot that gets thinner and wider as it moves around, and that controls the airflow. Now for me, I have it fully open. That's just me. And I'm firing at 15 watts. Currently smoking my Psycho Polar Ice Mint Tobacco Golden Tree Mix. 15 watts. Let's give this a bash. Oh, this thing is still as good as the day I bought it. Seriously is. This is a really good mouth to lung tank. Really good. Oh, I'm having another one on that. You see the vapour off it for a mouth to lung as well. It's really quite good. Of course, mouth to lung is a completely different way of vaping. It's more of a cigarette style smoke, is mouth to lung. These other two are direct to lung, straight in, more like what do they call it? That the pipe sort of tube smoking stuff. Turkish invention, I think. I can't remember now. But basically, it's a big water pipe with the tobacco in a tray on the top, and you heat it all up, and you burn it through you take it through the tube. I can't remember what they call them, but one of them. That's more like smoking. But this is more like an actual cigarette. So. You see it's rather quiet compared to the other devices. This one barely makes no noise at all. Don't know if you could even hear that, it's that quiet. So this is your more conventional cigarette smoking style. And there we go. The Kangatech Aero Tank 2, I Taste MVP 3.0. Still going. 5 years. 5 years. 5 years. For a very long time. So happy with that. Hopefully my friend Paul's going to enjoy this as well when I give it to him. But anyway, for the time being, let's head back to this now. That should be about ready to go. So let's power on the device again. Yeah, she's starting up. Now this is a new coil. Resistance on this coil is 0.15. It's registering on the device as 0.153. So let's select that. Okay. So let's see if I can just read 50 to 110 watts best at... It's a little bit obscured. I think it's like 60 to 80 watts is apparently the best. So I am going to crank this down to 40 watts, I think. 40 watts. Just give it a couple of priming fires. You want to take it very careful when you first get a new coil in. You don't want to just jump straight up to temperature, because they don't work that way. You have to sort of like try and ease them in a little bit, which is why I'm starting at 40 watts. Okay, that seems to be alright. So I'm going to crank it up now. and I put it up to 45. It's already starting to bump up the vapour production. Yeah, of course, there's not much flavour this low down because of the resistance on the coils a lot higher. So the flavour is a little bit, it's not as plentiful as the other coil is. Like I say, I'm still trying to just ease it in, make sure I'm not going too fast. And this seems to settle itself out about 2.63 volts at 45 watts. So let's push this up to 50, if I can go the right way. There we are, 50 watts. Which is the lower end of the recommended voltage, so we're in the lower end now. Starting to get there. Voltage settling out around about 2.78 on that. Excuse me. Okay, let's crank it back up again. This time we'll go to 55, which is the recommended best. This is the recommended best of this coil, of the larger coil. Let's see what it does with that. Flavour's not quite there yet, but it's starting to come through, and it's firing at about 2.89 volts. Very nice. Let's push this up to 60, which is the lower end of the recommended best. That's nice, that's nice. Wow, that's a lot. Voltage is ramped up straight up to about 3.03 at 60 watts. Flavour's still a bit lacking now at 60. I'm just going to give it one more fire at 60 just to, like I said, I'm trying to ease it up and trying to find the sweet spot as I go. Okay. This thing recommends 60 to 80 at best, so I'm going to bump it up to 70 now, which is just bang between the two. Let's see what 70 does. Ooh. Let's see what voltage it's firing on. Cracked its way up to about 3.27 volts at 70 watts. And I think, guys, 70 watts is roughly about my sweet spot for that. And that's very nice. Tank's getting a little bit warm, so I'm just going to leave that there now. So I've managed to get it up to temperature. I'm going to let the coil settle down now, soak in a little bit more liquid. And yeah, that was the rebuild of the TFV8 Baby coils. Make sure to increase your tank capacity for TPD compliance. And also we had a brief look at this Kangatech Aerotank 2 with Aislinn MVP 3.0, a variable voltage and variable wattage. This one's firing at 15 watts because it's got a high resistance coil. And you might think this is old tech, but this is still good. It still stands up to a lot of modern tanks today. Really good little setup. But yeah, that's been me for today. I've been Swordcorn. You've been awesome as always. This has been the TFV8 Baby coil build and the Aislinn MVP 3.0 Kangatech Aerotank 2. I will do a more detailed video on that when I've got some more time. But hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, like, favourite and subscribe. Share the video with your friends if you want to get them off smoking. Let's get as many people off smoking as we can, guys. These are the way to go. And if you are struggling to get off and nothing else is really helping you, these will really help you out. So let's try and get as many people off as we can, yeah? Tell your friends, make sure you're keeping people informed, always vape safe, and until next time, have an awesome day. Bye for now.